G'day, I'm David G. Sheshnag Mundia, Sheshnag.com. What on earth is Kundalini? I'm going to back myself in and go for it on this video. I reckon I've cracked the code and I'll back everything I've got on me. As in, this is it, mate. This is the reason why we're here. And there's no one willing to step up and answer this, and I've got a guarantee on myself. I'll give you everything I own if I'm wrong. Let's start on it then, okay? So first of all, I'm probably the first documented Gyan yogi in Western history. And what's a Gyan yogi? Someone who has achieved yogi of the Jnana technique, which is the yoga of intuitive knowledge. And I'm quite happy to say that. I'm self-diagnosed, Gyan yogi, a Western culture, and I don't believe it's ever been diagnosed before. And while I'm in that, I'll say the reason why we're here, ironically, the mental health system medicates most people that experience the subtle dimensions and turns their mind off to function more socio-behaviorally in the three-dimensional physical reality, physical environment governed by distance, time and space, and then function in a way that's really stable in that. I'm into physics and anatomy. Throughout the planet there are clearly shitloads of evidence to do with this experience. The goal of human existence, the height, the epitome of why the human being has incarnated on the planet Earth. Okay, so let's give it a crack, see if I can explain it. If I can't, come and take everything from me because I'm wrong and you won the bet. But you won't win it. I'm serious, man. So this is us. A human on a rock. What's inside there? Inside the casing is a soul. Your soul, individual soul. How's that made up? You can go to the Samkhya philosophy and go through the 23 evolutes of Prakriti if you want. Basically, it doesn't really matter. In this experience, the human functions in the three-dimensional reality, what we call three-dimensional reality. If I use too many big words, comment, and we'll try and clarify some of those big words, but you understand what I mean by three-dimensional reality. Okay, we're in a body, mind, and we're governed by the distance, the space, and the time to function here. We have the 5 physical senses that ultimately govern the experience. You've got an individual soul that incarnates for the experience of evolution of consciousness, for growth, whatever you want to call it. It's tied into the body through an aerial, through an etheric system. Some people call it plasma, some people call it the Jacob's ladder. Okay, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's an anatomical experience, and it's the height of all religions on this planet. The anatomical experience works through a system. That system is subtle, and that system is governed by consciousness, the way that you perceive things. It's like an aerial, okay? It's like you've got an aerial that catches your signal and then expresses it onto your TV, which is your image of your whole being, and what is emitted from that is relative to the program running through the aerial. Where's the evidence of this aerial? Okay, let's look at this seriously, because I'm backing myself in. No one else stands up and says they're self-diagnosed Gyan yogi. This could ruin my reputation. Okay, let's get some evidence first. Best bit of evidence, right? We'll start with the medical symbol. That's our medical symbol. And then it's got a staff going up the middle. A little serpent's head. Serpent's head. Ball. Wings. That's the medical symbol on the side of the ambulance. You know what I mean anyway. It's also the sign of yoga, taken from India by a guy called Alexander the Great. He took a guy called Theravada with this symbol to Greece, and then turned Theravada into therapy, and this is a symbol for therapy. It's taken from India. It's a symbol of the 3 rivers, which is also the place where people go to for the biggest spiritual gathering on this planet, which happens once every 12 years in a place called Prayag, formerly known as Allahabad. And there's a place where you can go to the trifurcations of the rivers, and that's there because it symbolises the subtle energy system of the human framework. It's called Sangam in Prayag, but you don't have to go there. You can watch another video talking about the 3 rivers. But basically the correlation is there. Okay, so on this side you've got a male energy, on this side you've got a female energy. You work from the earth to the heaven. From you to God. Serious, man. It's as if, like, even 20 years ago, I wouldn't be thinking that I'd be talking about God and anatomy to do with realising God. But I am. So that aerial is inside the physical framework of the human body. Where's there evidence of this framework? Let's say, for instance, we go to Egypt and they've got the Eye of Ra. I don't know about how it looks, but you can take, for example, the Eye of Ra. It looks like maybe this. Something like that anyway. Let's just say it looks like that. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You can Google it. Guru Google will bring you home. So that's what the Eye of Ra looks like. It looks like an eyeball. It's also the Eye of Horus. It symbolises the all-pervading eye. This also symbolises the third eye, the eye of intuition, which is to do with the Hindu philosophy and the yoga philosophy of Shiva and Shakti, transcending the dualistic nature of human life to end in the non-dual. And that's the third eye there. So it symbolises this thing. And if the Egyptians knew about it, there's an eye of Edget, there's an Eye of Ra, an Eye of Horus. Once a human being brings their consciousness to the level of their third eye, then they can experience what is known as the state of Buddha, which according to the Samkhya philosophy, there's a part of your mind that is responsible for discernment of the truth and untruth. And I don't mean your truth, their truth, I mean the unified truth. And if you have the ability to discern between the unified truth and the non-unified truth, then you are said to be a Paramahamsa, which is a great swan, and the swan is able to discern milk from water. That's how precise the discernment of the truth and untruth is. Most people are tainted by the sieve, and there's another video on the sieve. Okay, so you've got that experience there, which makes you a Buddha, and the word comes from, it's a vriddhi grade of the word bodhi. In the Samkhya philosophy, there's a part of your mind responsible for discernment of truth and untruth relative to unified reality, and that's called the bodhi. When you attain the state of discernment relative to that part of your being, then you become a Buddha. Much like the word yoga. That's why I'm here on the planet, man. One of the reasons. The word yoga. It's all about yoga, mate. Sanskrit is a living language that has the words, this is the God's honest truth too. The words mean what they are. So the word yoga comes from a word yuj, which means to join. Once you join, it becomes yoga. Yoga happens at one precise time. And whether that's according to the headdress of the Egyptians, acknowledging the cobra, or the Aboriginal indigenous culture who worship the rainbow serpent, which is also seen as talking about the code. The serpent on the inside of the central channel moves up relative to the vibrations of the aerial. The aerial is seen to move through the frequencies and amplitudes of light that go from red to violet. So if you have a serpent in the middle here, and it goes up the middle channel, it's called the rainbow serpent. Aboriginal Australians have been talking about this for 60,000 years, mate. The Egyptians, who knows? We can't even build those pyramids. Who knows who built them? But I can tell you that the serpent they worshipped is the key to life. And in that, I'm telling you the code, because I don't know what to fucking do with it after I experience it. There you go. But the code is yoga. It's all written in Sanskrit. And the goal is to move the individual consciousness from the three-dimensional physical reality into a deep appreciation and utilization of all subtle realms to become unified with all that there is. When that happens at the time of yoga. There is only one precise moment that will happen in someone's life, and that yoga will happen simultaneously. There's another video called the Jivan Mukti Experience. You can watch that. Basically, you will lose yourself, transcend everything that there is in the world according to how you know it relative to the world of opposites. When that happens, the Kundalini will be awakened. At the time of yoga, the Kundalini will be awakened in the base chakra. It will move up the Sushumna, the central channel, blow out your head above that ball once your eye of intuition is illuminated, and then Sheshnag becomes alive in the human. the goal of human incarnation is yoga. The goal of why you came here as a planet to fulfill your karma is to merge into everything, just like the Ouroboros, which is another symbol throughout the planet which is clearly evident of the human incarnational cycle that allows for dissolution of the little self into the whole through the experience of the dualistic nature of things in the physical world. So you've got the Ouroboros as well. That's a serpent with its mouth open, eating its own tail. It's a very common symbol. Then you've got the rainbow serpent, like I said. You've also got the etheric body. You've got the tree of Sephiroth of the Kabbalic tradition. You've got the chakras of the Indians. You've got the meridians of the Chinese. You've got Quetzalcoatl down in South America being a winged serpent. You've got another serpent somewhere. All the serpents on the hieroglyphs, not to mention the headdress and everything that they worship between the eyes. Okay, so the serpent is an energy wave that has been interpreted by many cultures on this planet. The goal of the physiological experience of humans is to allow consciousness to rise to the top through the experience of yoga when your Kundalini's awakened. That way you will become an avatar, which is a Sanskrit word for godlike being. So you'll be in a unified state on the planet. And when Jesus says, ye are gods, then you'll know it. This is the transition that we're going through at the moment. I'm pretty passionate about it. And I don't normally speak like this. This is to do with me having a year-long gig about getting my great mind out of hiding. And this is the 11th hour. So, there you go. Ultimately, why you're here is to become a Jivan Mukti. And what happens at the time of becoming a Mukti, you are a liberated soul. Your Jiva, which is called Jivatma, right? The little soul here is called Jivatma, right? God is called Paramatma. And the goal is to bring your little self, Jiva, up there, unify with God. Whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. You can call it anything. Panchamama, Pacha, whatever, doesn't matter. The divine for you, or how you relate to that part of life that's bigger than everything and inexplainable, then that's your gig. That's close to your heart, man. Okay? All I'm doing is saying that there's a reason why we're here, and the goal is to merge with everything. We have been incorrectly educated for most of our lives. The transition's here where we're sort of getting a grip on like our spiritual nature, and hopefully you can help people experience this state. Long live the Kundalini. Sheshnag.com. Share the world. Long live Sheshnag. Peace. I'm David G signing off.